Hello everybody, Fiona Clark, the Zenergizer here, and again I've come back to you today to talk to you about large intestine meridian. Now if you haven't been following, I have been talking to you about all the different meridians and the points, the reason why in tapping, EFT, emotional freedom technique, whatever you know it as, if you do know about it, why we use these points, why these meridian points are really important in what we do. Now, talked about lung meridian yesterday. Now the meridians are the energy pathways in the Chinese medicine that go up and down our body. There's 14 of them, and they control all sorts of different emotions, physical issues, all sorts of different things. Obviously, everything that goes on within our body, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So large intestine meridian actually starts just around here. And then it comes down around the shoulder, inside the elbow and off the second finger, off here, okay? And the large intestine, as we know, is responsible for transformation of the digestive waste. Now, one thing I bet you did not know is that the large intestine actually relies on the lungs. Now, the lungs, when we talk in Chinese medicine, we know we've got yin organs and we've got yang. The yin organs are the organs that are working all the time, and they have a partner, the yang. So the yin organ is the lungs, because obviously our lungs are working all the time, to the large intestine. Now, where this, I find this absolutely fascinating, is that the large intestine relies on the lungs because with the expansion and the contraction of the lungs, this actually, obviously we're moving the diaphragm in and out, and this acts as a pump. So it helps all that peristalsis of the digestive system. So can you see, if we have got breathing problems, if our lungs are not working and we're not expanding our chest to breathe in enough oxygen, if we've got asthma or anything else that's going on, have you got digestive problems? Is that diaphragm working properly? Are you breathing properly? And the other way around, if you've got digestive problems, how's your breathing? Think about that. Is your breathing open? Are you breathing from the base of your stomach, taking deep breaths in to expand the chest? Think about that pump, the diaphragm pumping in the air, allowing the peristalsis to actually take action and allowing the large intestine to do its work with the digestive system. I find it quite fascinating, and I'm hoping you do. Now, if you've got sluggish bowels, if you've got constipation, you can change this very easily with your breathing. So just really have an understanding of how your body's working. How are you breathing? Are you taking those short, sharp breaths from the upper part of your chest, or are you taking those deep breaths from down the lower part of your stomach? Check that out. Now, when this meridian is out of balance, you will find that the emotions that we have very much connected, very similar to lung, are sadness, grief, worry, depression. You may have problems of feeling guilty, having regrets, feeling powerlessness. These are all the different types of things that were going on with us emotionally if we feel this meridian is out of balance, if it's not flowing properly, if you're not breathing properly. So think about that. And of course, on the opposite of that, when we are feeling in flow with our large intestine, we've got that enthusiasm, we've got that self-worth, we're feeling powerful, we've got compassion. Everything is flowing in the right direction. Now, there's a point here. Now, we don't use this point in tapping as such, but it's another tonic point. And in Chinese medicine, if you know anything about acupuncture, there are certain points which they call either master points or tonic points. And these are the points that are very, very powerful and ones to take note of that you can use all the time, not just when you've got an issue, because they will boost your immune system. Now, lung 4 is one of these tonic points, and it is literally in the side of your hand. It's on the index finger side, just where this V is, and you will know when you've got the right spot because it's flipping painful. So literally run your hand down then till you get to that V. I'm hoping you can see it. And just work in there until you find a pot. And you may find that it feels like a bit of a red hot poker. It can be excruciatingly painful. Now this point on both hands, so you're going to work it on both sides, is a fantastic point to release anything. So think about large intestine, we're releasing. God, I'm sweating here. We're releasing, we're getting rid of the digestive waste, okay? So this point is all about letting go. So it's good if you've got a headache, it's good if your nose is blocked, if your throat is congested, if your lungs are congested, and obviously if you're constipated. So if you think of anything that you want to get rid of, so think about it emotionally and physically, this is the point to use. And because we call this as a tonic point, this is a point to use every day. You can use this every day to boost up your immune system, okay? So this is actually also a point, and I have to mention this, never ever use if you are pregnant, because remember, it is a release point. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story about this one. Years ago, probably about 20 years ago now, I was working with somebody who came to work with a really bad hangover, really, really bad hangover, of which she'd said that normally it would take her 2 or 3 days to actually recover. God only knows what she'd been drinking. Anyway, I worked this point for her. Now, if you're going to work on a point in an acupressure way, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either work into it, massage it for say 5 seconds, release it, come back into it, massage it again. Do that about 5 times and then leave it and then come back to it. Or you can hold it and do the same. Hold it for 5 seconds, release it, go back in, hold it again, go back in. Do that about 5 times. But acupressure points work brilliantly if you keep returning to them. And this is exactly what I did with this girl. Every time I saw her, it's like, right, let's do it again. 5 times, press it down. And that point was excruciatingly painful. Now, I have to say, she did go off and throw up. And she went to bed that night, had a really good sleep. She got up and she said she felt amazing. Absolutely amazing, where normally she's gone for like 2 days or something ridiculous. So it does work. It seriously is a very, very powerful point. This is not a point that we necessarily use in tapping, because in the tapping, if you're doing the traditional EFT, we used to tap the fingers like this. Well, I don't do any of that. I actually, in fast EFT, I just hold the wrist. Those of you who've worked with me will know this. Hi, Brendan. And we hold the wrist because we're connecting with those energy pathways, the meridians. We don't necessarily have to tap every finger to connect with them. So this is a really, really, I find it fascinating when you're listening to these, working out these meridians. So remember that the large intestine and the lungs are working together. They're the yin and the yang. The large intestine needs the lung for that diaphragm pumping away, so you're making sure you're breathing, and it's pumping down through the digestive system. It's allowing that for the waste to go away. Now, questions you might want to ask yourself if you feel that this is a little bit out of balance or it's not flowing properly, or if you've got problems with your digestion or your breathing, ask yourself, what are you hanging on to? What are you hanging on to in your life, both emotionally, physically, both literally and figuratively? What are you not wanting to let go of? Okay. And there's another question. Are there other things that you want to, keep hold of? Do you retain things? Are you holding on to things that are no longer serving you? So you're still holding on to stuff that's making you feel a bit toxic, but you really want to let go of them? So just have a think about that, because if there are, you can use this acupressure point and see what happens. See how that makes your body feel. See how that makes you feel emotionally. All right? So that's all I'm going to talk about today with large intestine meridian. And the Chinese love to call this the Minister of Transportation, for obvious reasons, because it's getting rid of your digestive waste. It's transporting. I actually love it. So I've got 2 meridians left to go. Now, I won't be doing this tomorrow. I will be doing this hopefully on Monday. And we are going to talk about circulation meridian. So that'll be the next meridian. And then I've got one more after that, which I'm going to inform you about. But if you want to know more about what I do, I would love you to come and join me in the Zen Zone, my little group that we have, and I am going to be talking on Monday. I'm going to do a free 7-day experience where I am going to show you how you really can connect to your Zen Zone. So all these different techniques and skills that I've got from, I started actually in 91 when I trained as a kinesiologist. I'm going to share a lot of those with you so that you can understand. So at any time, you know how, when you're feeling a bit stressed or a bit anxious, or you've got all these digestive things going on, you know how to bring yourself back to that place of calm. Because let me just tell you one thing. The majority of our physical problems stem from stuff up here. If we have emotional stress of any kind in our life and we are not dealing with them, I truly know, because I've seen it so many times, that we're not dealing with it emotionally, so it will go into your physical body in some form or another. So if we work on our emotions, you will find that your physical body will actually be working beautifully. But what happens is, when we don't work on emotions, it's like we put all those emotions and those stresses into a file, into a filing cabinet, and eventually that filing cabinet just blows up and it will come out in a physical way. It will make you sick, it will give you pain, you will have some sort of thing going on, an imbalance within your body. And you will do something about it, because let's face it, none of us like to be in physical pain. But with our emotions, so often we prefer to put them into a box and just shut them away, because quite often we don't know how to deal with them, or we don't want to deal with them. Different ways, okay? So I'm going to share with you many different things in the next 7 days, how you can bring yourself back to a place of peace, a place of calm. Whatever's going on, regardless of the storms that are blowing around you, the fires are blazing, you have a perception, it's your perception how you deal with that. So we're going to talk about all those things. If you want to come and join us in the Zen Zone, please do that. I'm going to put the link above the video and join us. What have you got to lose? You've got loads to gain, nothing to lose. So have a fabulous day, whatever you're doing, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.